ॐ नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तन्तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। Chapter 2, Shloka 18. Antavant ime dehaha नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत। नित्यस्य शरीरिणः अनाशिनः नित्यस्य अप्रमेयस्य शरीरिणः इमे देहाः अन्तवन्तः उक्ताः। Antavantah. We were looking into the Bhashya, explaining the word Antavantah. The body has Anta, end, implying it is subject to Badha. Badha means negation. Negation happens by means of a pramana. When proper knowledge arises by means of a proper means of knowledge, a proper pramana, then a mithya vastu, a mithya object gets negated. It is called badhaha. For example, Rajju Sarpaha, rope snake, that continues to appear for a while. When we inquire with the proper pramana, with our eyes, aided with bright light, our chakshurindriya works properly when it is aided with bright light. That is proper pramana nirupanam. We inquire with proper means of knowledge. Then what happens? We understand that it is not snake. We see the rope. Then the rope snake becomes negated, badhita. Even after that, it may continue to appear. Once again, if you put off the light, the snake may continue to appear. Sarpa pratiti may continue. but it is Badhita Sarpa. It is a negated snake. Negated snake is no longer a snake. It has come to an end. It is Antaha. That is the Anta intended here. That is how Bhashyakara puts the Anta as. It is called Badhita Anuvritti. The Sarpa may continue to appear even after Badhaha. The Pratiti, the Sarpa Pratiti may continue. The appearance of the Sarpa may continue. It is called Badhita Anuvritti. Continuation of the appearance of an object even after its negation. Likewise, even this body, it appears to be real because of ajnana. Because of ajnana, we attribute reality to the body. When we inquire through proper means of knowledge, through pramana, here the pramana is Vedanta Shastra, we aided by yukti, proper reasoning. And then we understand that the body is mithya. There is only Brahman, Ekameva Dvitiyam. That means the body is mithya. When it is understood, it is Badhita. The Sharira is Badhita. Badha has happened. Sharirasya Badhaha. Dehasya Badhaha. In English we can translate it as negation. There is another better word, sublation. The body is sublated. So, pramana nirupanante vichchidyate. On inquiry, through pramana vichchidyate, it gets negated. Saha tasyaha antaha. It is its anta. Tatha ime dehaha. Similarly, ime dehaha. These bodies also, even they have antaha. Antavantaha. Bhashyakara gives some more example for objects that have anta. Swapnamaya Dehadivaccha Antavantaha. Swapnamaya Dehadivaccha. Like Swapna Deha and Maya Deha. Swapna Deha means a dream body. A dream body has anta. How long does the dream body continue? The dream body can continue even after knowing that it is a dream. I don't know how many of you had this experience. Please raise your hand. I am one. Okay, 1, 2. Yeah. Sometimes it happens. At least a few times I can recollect in my own life. Even after knowing that it is a dream, the dream continues. It is a very wonderful experience. The dream body continues to exist for a while. But then the dream body is negated. You know that it is just a dream. So in dream, we get another body. Swapnika Sharira. It happens in the Swapna, within the dream. You get another body. And the dream body, this body is lying on the cot, on the bed. Then you get another dream body. And the dream body roams in the forest, eating sweet fruits in the forest, the dream forest. And then all of a sudden a tiger comes and you run in the dream body. With the dream body you run. The dream body runs. So then it becomes a nightmare. Earlier it was a sweet dream because you were eating sweet fruits. But when the tiger comes, it becomes a nightmare. And you start running. As you run, you realize that it is just a dream. Then the dream body, dream tiger, everything gets sublated. It loses its reality. It is as good as the end of the dream. The tiger can no longer scare. Swapnadehavat, like a dream body. And Mayadehavat, Maya Sharira. A magician creates a Maya Sharira. The real magician may not be there in front, but then he creates another magician, Maya Sharira. And then there is a Indian rope trick. I don't know whether you have heard of Indian rope trick. So it will come in Mandukya Upanishad Gaudapada Karika Bhashya. Shankaracharya explains it in great detail. A rope, it is made to stand straight, slowly stand straight. That is how the magic begins. A rope will stand, it will become like a big pillar. And then the magician makes a boy climb on the rope. Even the magician might climb. The magician climbs on the rope. And then, after a while, you find that the body of the magician falls. It breaks into pieces and falls down. With the blood and everything. So then perhaps they put a cover and then the magician comes again. all pieces joined together, alive. So that is a description we find. In olden days, that kind of a magic used to happen in India. Nowadays, it is not there. The original rope trick is lost. There may be some similar things they might have, invented, but the original rope trick is not there. So, Maya Deha, that is Maya Deha. Maya, see, the original meaning of the word Maya is the magical power of a magician. If we give up Vedanta, what is Maya? It is the power, magical power of the magician is called Maya. That is the Laukika meaning of the word Maya. Maya Dehavat, Adi, etc. So many other examples are possible. Shukti Rajata, and so on. Antavantaha, even these bodies, which we consider as real bodies, even they are antavantaha. They are subject to negation. Nityasya sharirinaha shariravatāha anashinaha अप्रमेयस्य अन्तवन्तः इत्युक्ताः विवेकिभिः इत्यर्थः नित्यस्य शरीरिणः. This body belongs to a shariri, the indweller of the body. Shariri means Shariravataha, Shariravan, Atma. And the Shariri, Atma is Nityaha, Anashinaha, Nitya and Anashi. These are the descriptions of Atma, who is Shariri, who dwells in the body. Aprameyasya, Nityasya, Anashinaha and Aprameyasya are the descriptions of Shariri. Sharire Bhavaha, Shariravan, he has the body. Distinct from the body, but he has a body. He dwells in the body, manifests in the body. One who has Sharira as Upadhi is called a Shariri, which is nothing but Atma. Ime Dehaha Antavantaha. So Shariri is Nitya, Anashi and Aprameya, but the Sharira is Antavan. Dehaha Antavantaha. The word Deha means Diha Upachaye Dhatu. That which grows is called Deha. Diha Upachaye Dhatu. The body grows, that is why it is called Deha. It is also called Sharira because Shiryamanatvat Shariram, Shiryate. It deteriorates, disintegrates. That is why it is called Shariram. So it grows, therefore it is called Deha. It deteriorates, therefore it is called Sharira. Both words are true. Ityukta vivekibhihi ityarthaha iti uktaha. There is uktaha in the shloka. Ime dehaha antavantaha uktaha. They are described as antavantaha. By who? Vivekibhihi. By Viveki. By Vivekis. People who have Nitya Nitya Vastu. Who have Viveka of Nitya and Anitya. Nityasya Anashinaha iti na punaruktam Nityatvasya Vividhatvat Loke Nashasya cha Nityasya Anashinaha. These two words are used. It seems to be a punarukti. Anashi means Nitya. Nitya means Anashi. One that does not have destruction is Nitya, eternal. What is eternal? One that does not have destruction. It seems to be a punarukti. And punarukti is a dosha. Punarukti dosha or dvirukti dosha. Shankaracharya says it is not punarukti. Why it is not punarukti? Because there can be two types of nasha. Two types of nasha are possible. One type of nasha is adarshana rupa nasha. Adarshana rupa nasha. It disappears. A total destruction or total disappearance is called adarshana rupa nasha. Another is anyatha parinama rupa nasha. Anyatha parinama. It is there, but it undergoes a change and loses its previous shape. That is another form of nasha. And corresponding to these two nashas, even Nitya can also be two types. One type of Nitya, it has the second form of nasha, but it does not have the first nasha. It undergoes an anyatha parinama. That nasha it has, but it does not have adarshana rupa nasha. Even that can be called Nitya. It is called Pravaha Nitya or Parinami Nitya. Pravaha Nitya or Parinami Nitya. For example, earth or clay. Let us take clay. So clay has been taken a form pot, but it can be broken. Still it will remain clay. And you can modify it into something else. Still it will remain clay. Likewise, even the space or even the earth, Prithvi, it keeps changing its form. But still it is, as earth it remains. It doesn't disappear. At least for one cycle of Srishti. It is Parinami Nitya or Pravaha Nitya. But then there is Kutastha Nitya. It does not have both nashas. Neither it has adarshanam nor it has anyatha parinama. Both nashas it doesn't have. Then it is called kutastha nitya. Atma is kutastha nitya, not parinami nitya, not pravaha nitya. To convey this point, Krishna makes use of two words. Nityasya anashinaha. Therefore, Nityasya anashinaha iti na punaruktam. We'll read. Nityasya anashinaha iti na punaruktam. नित्यत्वस्य द्विविधत्वात् लोके नाशस्य च नित्यस्य अनाशिनः इति न पुनरुक्तम्. Nityasya and anashinah, these two words should not be understood as punaruktam, because loke, in the world, Nityatvasya nashasya cha dvividhatvat. Nityatva as well as nasha, both are of two types. Yatha dehaha bhasmibhutaha adarshanam gataha nashta uchyate. This is one type of nasha. Yatha, for example, dehaha, the body, bhasmibhutaha, when it is burnt, adarshanam gataha, it has disappeared, it is lost. Nashtaha uchyate, then it is called nashtaha, it is gone, destroyed. Ityuchyate, this is said. Then this is one type of nasha. What nasha? Adarshana rupa nasha. The body is gone, no more body, the particular body. It is one type of nasha. Then another form of nasha, vidyamanaha api अन्यथा परिणतः व्याध्यादियुक्तः जातः नष्ट उच्यते. Another, विद्यमानः अपि, though it is present, व्याध्यादियुक्तो जातः, because of vyadhi, because of disease, etc. Vyadhyadi yukto jatah, being afflicted by vyadhi, disease, etc. Adi means jara, old age, or whatever. Anyatha parinatah, it has undergone a change. Anyatha parinatah, it has lost its original form. It is anyatha parinatah. Then nashtaha uchyate, even then it is nashtaha. Sometimes they refer to it as nashtaha. He is lost. Tatra अनाशिनः नित्यस्य इति द्विविधेनापि नाशेन असंबंधः अस्य इत्यर्थः. तत्र, among the two nashas, द्विविधेनापि नाशेन असंबंधः. Atma does not have sambandha with both nashas. It is not associated with both forms of nasha. It is conveyed by anashinaha and nityasya. Anashinaha rules out one form of nasha, adarshana rupa nasha, and nityasya rules out अन्यथा परिणाम रूपनाश इत्यर्थः. This is the implied meaning of the two words nityasya and anashinah. Anyatha पृथिव्यादिवदपि नित्यत्वं स्यात् आत्मनः तन्मा भूदिति नित्यस्य अनाशिनः इत्याह. अन्यथा, otherwise, if both nashas are not ruled out separately, then prithivyaadivadapi nityatvam syadatmanah. Atma could have had nityatva like Prithvi, etc. That would have been the meaning that people would have understood if only one word had been used. Just like Prithvi is Nitya, Prithvi is always there, earth. In fact, according to Vedanta, Prithvi is not Nitya. We don't call Prithvi as Nitya. None of the five elements are Nitya, because they all disappear at the time of Pralaya. But according to other philosophers, like Naiyayika, Prithvi is Nitya. So, keeping in mind other philosophers, whether Naiyayika or Charvaka, Bhashyakara says, Prithvi is Parinami Nitya. It undergoes modification, but it is there. As earth, it will remain. Likewise, Atma also is Parinami Nitya. One may understand so. To rule out that possibility, we have to rule out both forms of Nasha. Prithivyadivadapi nityatvam syadatmanaha tanma bhoditi. Let it not happen. Iti nityasya anashinaha ityaha. With that intention, Krishna says nityasya and anashinaha. Both words are used. Aprameyasya na prameyasya pratyakshadi pramanaihi aparichchedyasya ityarthaha. Aprameyasya na prameyasya aprameyasya na prameyam aprameyam na prameyaha aprameyaha. It is not prameya. Prameya means pramana vishaya. Object of pramana is called prameya. Pratyakshadi pramanaihi aparichchedyasya ityarthaha. Aprameya means it cannot be objectified by pratyakshadi pramana. Pratyaksha adi pramana. How many pramanas are there? There are 6 pramanas. What are the 6 pramanas? Yeah. Not anupa. Yeah. Yeah. Anupalabdhi and Shabda. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi and Shabda. These are 6 pramanas. Pratyaksha pramana means a direct perception. So, we directly perceive things with the help of our senses, or sometimes even without senses. Directly with our mind we perceive. It is pratyaksha. Then anumana. Anumana means inference. We have seen Anumana the other day. Parvato Vanhiman, Dhumat, Mahanasam, etc. Inference. Then Upamana. Upamana means analogy. With the knowledge of similarity, you recognize something. It is called upamana. For example, someone who has not seen an animal called Gavayaha. Gavaya is an animal, an antelope. Nilgai, have you heard Nilgai? Yeah. How many of you have seen Nilgai? Okay, yeah. Gavayaha is an antelope, which has the color and all. It is more, it looks like a cow, kind of. And it is a very shy animal. It won't stay for a long time. That's why very difficult to spot it. So, this gentleman is going to forest, and he wants to see Gavaya. He is going alone. He has not seen Gavaya earlier. Then he asked another person, how can I recognize Gavaya if I go to the forest? Then the other person who is informed about Gavaya, he tells him, Go Sadrashaha Gavayaha. Gavaya is like a cow. It is similar to cow. Then this gentleman understands, oh, an animal similar to cow is Gavayaha. Then he goes to the forest and he finds an animal similar to the cow. Then he recognizes, yeah, this is Gavaya. I am Gavayaha. How does he arrive at this conclusion? I am Gavayaha. Because of the knowledge of similarity of this animal with the cow. So, with the knowledge of similarity, you arrive at a knowledge, you arrive at a conclusion. The knowledge of similarity serves as a pramana. Sadrishya jnana serves as a pramana, a means of knowledge. It is called upamanam. And then arthapatti. Arthapatti means you arrive at a conclusion based on the fact that it is not possible. Another fact is not possible other than this fact. For example, Pino Devadattaha Divana Bhunkte. Devadatta is very fat, but he does not eat during daytime. Divana Bhunkte. This is a given. These two facts are given. Pino Devadattaha Divana Bhunkte. What can you understand from this? Yeah, he eats at night. How do you know that? Otherwise, it is not possible. The given facts are not possible unless he eats at night. Therefore, he eats at night. This kind of a reasoning, arriving at a conclusion through this kind of a reasoning, is called Arthapatti. Suppose you are sitting there, she is sitting there. I ask her to come here. I just said, come here. But she gets up. How did she know that she has to get up? Because I asked her to come here. It is not possible unless she gets up. That is why my very statement, come here, with that she has understood that I also intend to say that she has to get up. Because otherwise, without getting up, she cannot come here. Therefore, come here, this statement also means that she has to get up. It is arrived at with Arthapatti Pramana. So, Arthapatti is another means of knowledge. Another type of reasoning, like Anumana, but it is distinct. There is a distinction between Anumana and Arthapatti. Someone asked, what is reasoning and Anuma inference? Inference is one type of reasoning. There is another type of reasoning. It is Arthapatti. It is called postulation or presumption. And then Anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi means absence of apprehension of an object is called Anupalabdhi. For example, there is no elephant in the room. How do I arrive at this knowledge? There is no elephant in this room. Had there been an elephant, it would have been visible. I would have seen it. There is absence of perception of elephant. Absence of perception of elephant is Anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi of elephant. This serves as a means for understanding the absence of elephant. Absence of perception is the means to arrive at the absence of something. I do not see elephant is the means to arrive at the conclusion, therefore there is no elephant. That is Anupalabdhi. It is like absence of evidence is evidence of absence. Absence of evidence is evidence of absence. This is very much used in law. How do you know that someone is not a criminal? Absence of evidence. Absence of evidence is evidence of absence. Sometimes it holds good. It may not always hold good, but mostly it holds good. And it is studied while analyzing the pramanas. We understand when it is valid, etc. Then Shabda Pramana. Last one is Shabda Pramana. Shabda Pramana is of two types. One is Laukika Shabda. Laukika Shabda is called Aptavakya, the word of a trustworthy person. A person who can be trusted is called Aptaha. His words serve as pramana. Sometimes even the newspapers, televisions are pramana up to certain extent. Because they give information, all Shabda, mostly Shabda Pramana. Depends on the reliability of the reporters. Mostly they are biased, so they are not really Apta. Up to certain extent, some of them are Apta. So that is Laukika Shabda. Then there is Vaidika Shabda. Vedas are another form of Shabda Pramana. Vedas are Apaurusheya, not written by human author. Therefore, Veda is free from the fallacies, free from human error. Therefore, it is Sarvam Pramana. In Laukika Shabda, only if it is Aptavakya, then it is Pramana. But if it is Vaidika Shabda, Sarvam Pramana, everything is Pramana. So these are 6 Pramanas. Among these 6 Pramanas, which Pramana can objectify Atma? If you ask this question, none of the Pramanas can objectify the Atma. That is what Shankaracharya says. Pratyakshadi pramanaihi aparichchedyatvat. Aparichchedyasya ityarthaha. Aprameyaha means Pratyakshadi pramanaihi aparichchedyasya. It cannot be objectified by any of the 6 Pramanas. It cannot be made evident by any of the 6 Pramanas. Then obviously we will get a question. The Purvapakshi is asking the same question that all of you perhaps are getting. Nanu Agamena Atma Parichchidyate Pratyakshadina cha Purvam. Here there is another reading. Pratyakshadina cha, up to that is Purvapaksha in another reading. Pratyakshadina cha, up to that is Purvapaksha. Then न पूर्वम आत्मनः स्वतः सिद्धत्वात्, न पूर्वम स्वतः सिद्धत्वात्, आत्मनः is not there in the other reading, न पूर्वम स्वतः सिद्धत्वात्. That is another reading which Ramaraya Kavi takes. It seems to be a better reading, in fact. So, ननु आगमेन आत्मा परिच्छिद्यते. पूर्व पक्ष. ननु आगमेन, by the agama, Veda, Shastra, Shabda Pramana. Agama means Shastra. Shastra is Shabda Pramana. Atma parichidyate. Atma is objectified. And even before that, pratyakshadina cha purvam, purvam, agamadapi purvam. Even before agama, pratyakshadi pramana do objectify the Atma. This is Purva Paksha. According to Purva Pakshi, if agama has to write something, if Veda has to write something, it should have been known by someone through pratyaksha, etc. That is how Atma is talked about in the Veda. This is Purva Pakshi's idea, because he thinks Veda is Paurusheya. If Veda is Paurusheya, someone has found out the Atma and he has written about the Atma in the Veda. That means before writing the Veda, he should have experienced Atma through Pratyaksha or through Anumana. That is his idea. That is why he says Pratyakshadina cha purvam. Then Siddhanti says it is not so, because even before one operates a pratyakshadi pramana, the Atma should be evident. Atma should be evident even before one operates any pramana. Because what is Atma? The very self of the knower. If the knower himself is not evident, how can he operate the pramana? If I am missing for myself, I am not evident for myself, how can I even say I want to know? When I say I want to know, I should be there and I should be evident. Therefore, even before the operation of any pramana, even before I employ any pramana, I am evident. Therefore, one cannot say that I know the Atma through any pramana. I make the Atma evident through any pramana. It is not possible. Because Atma has to be evident before the employment of any means of knowledge. Otherwise, the very employment of pramana is not possible. Na atmanah swatah siddhatvat. Yeah. According to Ramaraya Kavi, purvam swatah siddhatvat. Even before means even before the employment of pramana, even before I make use of pramana, Atma has to be self-evident. It should be self-evident. Swatas-siddha. Atma cannot be pramana-siddha. It is swatas-siddha. Evident even without any pramana. Independent of any other means of knowledge. Swatas-siddha. This is Sangraha Vakya. Atmanah Swatas-siddhatvat or Purvam Swatas-siddhatvat. Bhashyakara explains it. Siddhehi Atmani Pramatari Pramitsoho Pramananveshana Bhavati. Siddhehi Atmani Pramatari. Atma is the pramata, the very nature of pramata. In fact, Atma itself is not pramata. The Atma itself does not even become pramata. There is a distinction between pramata and Atma. The very swarupa of the Atma is free from pramatratva. When do I become a pramata? I become a pramata when I have a prama, when I have a cognition. And the cognition happens as a modification in my antahkarana, in my mind. When I identify with that cognition, then alone I become a pramata. That is why Atma associated with the antahkarana becomes a pramata. Antahkarana upahita Atma is pramata, not the pure Atma. The pure Atma is not pramata. It is just Chaitanya. So when the Atma is associated with antahkarana, then it becomes pramata. Knower. Pramata means knower. Who is knower? One who is associated with the function of knowledge. The vritti called knowledge. Cognition. Atmani pramatari. So the Atma has to become pramata, associated with the antahkarana. So this pramata has to be evident first. Antahkarana avachinna Atma. Antahkarana upahita Atma should be available first. That is what we call I generally. Atma with antahkarana. Then I will say, I want to know. I want to know. First I have to be evident as a knower. Then I will say, I want to know. Then I become a pramitsu. I want to know. Pramatum ichuhu pramitsuhu. When I want to know, I become a pramitsu. Then I want to go for a pramana. Because if I have to know, I need a pramana, a valid means of knowledge. Then pramana anveshana bhavati. Then I look for a pramana. And then I employ a pramana. I make use of a pramana. See, a pramana comes much after. The pramata has to be evident much before. That is why you cannot say, I will objectify Atma, I will make the Atma evident through a pramana. It is not possible. Nahi purvam इत्थम अहम इति आत्मानं अप्रमाय पश्चात् प्रमेय परिच्छेदाय प्रवर्तते. पूर्वम इत्थम अहम इति आत्मानं अप्रमाय. Without knowing oneself as the pramata, without being evident oneself as the pramata, itham aham, I am this, like this, itham, I am of this nature, as a pramata, not as the true nature, but I should know myself as a pramata. Aham itham, I am of this kind. Iti atmanam apramaya, without knowing oneself like this, without oneself being evident. Paschat pramana parichedaya na pravartate. Paschat, after that, pramana parichedaya, prameya parichedaya, to objectify the prameya, one does not na pravartate, one does not engage. That means definitely, see here two negatives are there. Atmanam apramaya, prameya parichedaya na pravartate. Without knowing oneself before, one does not engage in objectifying the prameya. That means before objectifying any prameya, one first has to know oneself. One should be evident oneself first. Nahi atma nama kasyachit aprasiddho bhavati. Yeah. So, already Bhashyakara gave one reason why Atma is evident even without pramana. Because even before even before the employment of pramana, one should know oneself as the pramata. That is one reason. Another reason is, for everyone, oneself is always evident. Atma is always prasiddha for everyone. Nahi atma nama kasyachit aprasiddho bhavati. Kasyachit, for anyone. Abala gopalam, starting from a baby, bala, or gopala, a cowherd. Even for the most ignorant, Atma is na aprasiddha. Atma is not unknown. Atma is not non-evident. Because everyone knows I am there. Nobody gets a doubt whether I am there or not. Therefore, Atma, the Chaitanya, is always evident, always self-evident. It does not need any pramana to make itself evident, and a pramana cannot make it evident also. Because it is the very illuminer of every pramana. Atma is the very illuminer of every experience, every knowledge, every cognition. Therefore, no experience, no cognition, no knowledge can objectify the Atma. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।